My whole life, I've had to bear witness to the exploitative nature of work. Every day, I watched my parents work very long hours and still weren't able to afford the things and experiences that they wanted to give us. Because they were at work all the time. We also missed out on a lot of normal things like being able to go on field trips and summer school and like Kumon, and we were also not able to join clubs and go to Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts because we simply did not have the time or the money to. Because my parents worked all day, we were also time poor. And as a result of them working so much, their combined income was too much to be able to have access to government assistance, but we also did not make enough to pay for things out of pockets. So that meant that we were deprived of health care. We did not go to the doctor a lot or see any healthcare professionals really, simply because we couldn't afford it. And to this day, my family and I still cannot afford insurance, so I'm still uninsured. This paradox of having too much but also not having enough is ultimately what keeps poor people poor. So to be poor is to be excluded and to not be enough. I'm a product of immigration, and my parents ultimately came here for opportunity, and America prides itself on the ability to be able to work hard and for it to actually pay off. But as a kid, I always wondered why my parents' hard work didn't really pay off. American individualism fails to acknowledge the historical and environmental conditions in which keep poor people poor, and it makes it easier for people to victim blame poor people for being poor. So this can look like, these people aren't motivated enough, they're lazy, they don't want to work. But in reality, they are working the hardest. They are just being exploited and they don't make the equivalent. So to be poor is to be blamed. This sense of blame creates a precedent in which it doesn't let us agree on the ability to be able to, or whether or not we should expand benefits. And it ultimately reinforces the idea that that assistance is only for people who want to take advantage of it and for lazy people. So in a society that prioritizes monetary prosperity, impoverished people are also very punished. So to be poor is to be punished. Poor people are often victims to predatory loans and rates, meaning that they will want to sell you something, but at a very high rate. And ultimately, poor people are often charged more money because they don't have any money. There's also things in everyday life there's also ways in everyday life that poor people are also being punished. It's in grocery stores, and also in traffic. Traffic violations cost a lot of money. The fees do, and they're also legally, bail is just a way to buy your way out of jail. So poor people are literally being punished for not being able to afford bail. And they're also punished for super mundane things like loitering or jaywalking. But these are actually the structures that perpetuate poverty even further, even though they may seem very mundane and very minor. My lived experiences and education have made me grow to detest the very structures that keep poor people poor, and that don't allow poor people to be able to do anything besides work